Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is heading back out on the road. Former vice presidential candidate is planning to stop by Republican districts to do some town halls, while Republicans, of course, are hiding from their own voters. On Friday, for example, he'll be in Iowa in a district represented by Representative Zach Nunn. He then is heading to Nebraska for the district represented by Representative Don Bacon. Walz's team is also planning stops in Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Ohio within the coming weeks, with more to come. Why? Well, it's because he says that it's time for Democrats to step up and stop hiding. In fact, he told CNN on Wednesday there was just this primal scream of folks recognizing what's going on with the Trump administration, their authoritarian tendencies, and what they viewed was a lack of proper response from their representatives. It was about these Republican representatives recognizing this stuff's really unpopular. He's talking about the town halls, of course. So they're going to quit these town halls. These folks need to be heard. They need to be heard. And to be candid with you, Democratic leadership needs to hear them. Look, I talked about these town halls. I covered them. And there was a lot of anger about Elon Musk and the proposed cuts to Medicaid and the federal workforce. Okay, a lot of people are mad about that. Now, of course, Republicans responded to this with claims of, the paid activists, the paid activists. They say that's what they're just being filled with the what? Who's paying them? Who's paying them? Guaranteed, they're going to blame George Soros because, of course, right? Hey, you know what? I'd be a paid activist. Why isn't anybody offering money to go and to these Republican town halls? Nobody asked me. Nobody's reached out. I'd do it. I'm starting to think that maybe these Republicans are lying. Now, look, Walz's plan to go out and do these town halls in Republican districts actually came about after he posted about it on X. So this is a response to Politico, no more town halls. The NRCC chief tells House Republicans. And he says, well, that's a shame. If your Republican representative won't meet with you because their agenda is so unpopular, maybe a Democrat will. Well, maybe I will. If your congressman refuses to meet, I'll come host an event in their district to help local Democrats beat them. Interesting. Okay. Now, he got a lot of responses to this. Obviously, there's the negativity, but there's also a ton of positivity, right? His staff actually received hundreds of invitations from local party leaders and candidates asking him to come, which for some reason, of course, surprised Tim Walz. He said, I always feared that they would become apathetic after this last election and just check out. But they are not doing that. Well, no. Here's the thing. Donald Trump is a threat to the country. Elon Musk is an absolute disaster. His cuts are going to kill people. He's trying to take away food and medical care that people desperately need. All right? That's it. Also, that the party can give massive tax cuts to the rich. That's not what people voted for. And one of the problems with the Democrats is that aside from people like Bernie Sanders and a few others, and now Tim Walz, there's been no one going out there with any alternative. In fact, Walz recently spoke about that during an interview.
Again, there is going to be pain. The richness of a sitting senator like Tommy Tuberville or Elon Musk telling us we're going to have to endure pain. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Again, I think Americans have had it. I hope they've had it. And now we just need to do what we can do to make the case. And look, I own this. We wouldn't be in this mess if we'd have won the election. And we didn't. We have to make sure that Americans know it's not just that Donald Trump is bad, but we're offering them something better. And I think that's what we need to work on.
So I love the ownership that he took. He's like, yeah, I was on the ticket and we lost. And that is an extension of, another segment that I did where Walz was like, yeah, hey, it's kind of my fault. I went out there and we were on the losing side. I take ownership of that and I appreciate that. But what I appreciate even more is saying that, yes, we need to have an alternative to Orange Man Bad. Yes, Orange Man Bad, So what are we going to do that's better? Well, now, one of the problems with the Democratic Party is the fact that it takes corporate PAC money. And so it represents a lot of the same moneyed interests as, the ones that fund the Republicans. And so, yeah, they're intentionally weak when fighting Republicans because they can't take these populist economic stances, these populist economic issues. Okay. And so now that said, Bernie Sanders is also out there. He's fighting against oligarchy. In fact, he recently went on Pod Save America and said, quote, "It is not just that they want to give tax breaks to billionaires and cut programs for working people. Frankly, that's happened before. You combine that with the power of the oligarchy in general. You combine that with Mr. Musk owning Twitter and able to send out messages to hundreds of millions of people. You combine that with the fact that people like Bezos, the second wealthiest person in the country, fired or got rid of most of his editorial staff and turning it into a right-wing thing." He's talking about the Washington Post specifically, right? Trump is suing major media outlets and is threatening to investigate PBS and NPR. So it's not only the power of money, it's also combined with the movement towards authoritarianism. When Trump unilaterally cuts federal funding that was passed by Congress, that is illegal. That is unconstitutional. When you have the vice president saying, well, in his judgment, the courts don't have a right to stop unconstitutional acts of the president, man, that is authoritarianism. He is now trying to end what the founding fathers was pretty smart about, creating a form of government where there were checks and balances. This is a scary moment. Yeah, Sanders is absolutely correct on that. And where's the rest of the Democratic Party? Don't know. They're about ready to help Republicans pass a continuing resolution to fund the government. But wait, you don't want a government shutdown, do you? I don't know. I'm thinking maybe that's exactly what we need. Look, Republicans are looking to pass a CR that boosts defense spending. I thought they were supposed to be cutting waste, fraud, and abuse. The Pentagon cannot pass an audit. Okay. Not only that, but it's going to boost funding to mass deportation, and while zeroing out funding for homeless shelters, cutting funding for clinics, hospitals, all that stuff, and would actually allow Trump more direct control over this nation's spending, which is taking power away from the House, supposed to have the purse strings, okay? David Dayen over at the American Prospect warned that the bill grants an open invitation to Trump and Elon Musk to continue to ignore Congress and toss out disfavored spending, and noted that it gives the president more leeway to move money around, possibly for his own use. Okay, it appropriates money for things that Musk has eliminated, meaning that money can operate as a floating slush fund for Trump's own priorities, as long as the courts do not roll back the illegal impoundments. So that's what he's using, by the way, as a mechanism to fund his own things and to take away funding from things that he doesn't like. Okay, and so that's one of the big problems. Now, they did this by adding $8 billion in what is called transfer authority, too, that allows the agency to shift spending to where what they deem to be important. So taking away things that help people, homeless people, people that are at risk of abuse or have been abused, taking funding away from them and putting it towards deportations. I mean, it's messed up. Democrats really should put a stop to this, even if it does mean you have a government shutdown, because what they're doing is taking power away from Congress, from the legislature. All right. Now, that said, getting back to Walz, right? Now, he said that his message to people at these town halls is, you see what's going on. It doesn't have to be this way. It don't have to be like this. Well, I'm going to say ways they can mobilize to fight back, ways that I think are the most effective ways, and I fully expect them to tell me ways that they're looking for. I'm a catalyst to provide them a megaphone to lift up their voice. And I think that's what people are looking for. I understand now my responsibility. I have a little more of a national voice, So I should bring it to them. And I'm going to be basically handing the megaphone to them. Look, I'm glad to see Walz stepping back out. Okay? Because right now, the Democratic Party has been kind of like trying to figure out what the hell they're doing. They're supposed to be an opposition, okay, to the Republicans. They're not supposed to help the Republicans. We do not need comity. Okay, we don't need, the spirit of bipartisanship. No, fuck your bipartisanship, okay? We're not going to work with fascists, all right? Screw you. No, we need to fight back. We need to fight back against them. Look, muzzling Tim Walz during the campaign was one of the dumbest things the Democrats could do. That's it. We need more people who can communicate what the Democrats technically should stand for. And of course, what would help is that if the Democratic Party actually did stand for those things against the big money. And so you go out there and you start not only expressing those values, but also living them. That would be great. Instead of allowing Fox News and Republican politicians define you. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.